I'm sorry, you guys. I'm going to wait for a few more people to come back. But for whatever reason, my iPad died. And I just didn't want to take a chance on it dying again. So I am back. And I'm going to wait for a few more people to come back in because I know that I had a lot of questions going on. So I'm going to wait for a few more people to rejoin me as I continue talking about what's going on with the coronavirus and how we can, prepare ourselves. I mean, because preparation is everything. So I'm just waiting for a few more people to rejoin me. Thank you guys for sticking around. Hi, Cynthia. How you doing? Hey, Judith. How's everything? It's been hard for everybody, and people are afraid. Hi, Gail. Hi, Esther. I'm just waiting for some more people to come back in, and then I will continue where I left off. My iPad, my iPad died. I guess I was overwhelming it. It got scared of the coronavirus too. So anyway, I'm just trying to make sure that people prepare themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a very scary time for everybody. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know what to do. And everybody is giving out all of this different energy, all of this different news. People are just afraid. So we have to learn how to calm down and give people what they need instead of overloading people and making them even more afraid of this virus. We can beat a lot of things if we have the right information and if we just take the steps that are necessary in order to survive. So I was just waiting for a few more people to come back in, and I'm going to continue my discussion where it was at. Like I'm saying, thank you all for joining me, and please feel free to pass this information on. If you feel as though it's interesting, then you can share it while we are, while I'm talking, and you can go ahead and share it with other groups because, I am, a licensed professional in this business, and I feel as though that somebody needs to come on because there are people that are really, really afraid and they're not being guided. We're watching the news and we're watching so many other things, and people are just afraid, and they really need to know what course of actions to take in order to best serve their families. So, I have done whatever research I can, coupled with the training that I have had medically, and here I am. And I've prayed and asked God to guide every word that I'm saying so that I give it to you guys the best that I can. You know what I'm saying? And I make sure that I never want to misguide anybody. So what I'm doing is I come to you educated. I come to you guided by God and give you whatever information I can. But anyway, as I was saying, make sure that you write down all of your information. Somebody needs to know it. Give up if you have any allergies to any medications, all kinds of stuff. Now is the time to write all of that stuff down so that it's accessible to other people, just in case you might be sick and need to be transported to the hospital, so that somebody knows what your conditions, your pre-existing conditions are, so that they know how to treat them. In the midst of this, trying to find a remedy for you to make you better, you don't want people giving you medication that you're allergic to. So that is very important, to make sure that you write down your existing illnesses, especially if you start finding that you're not feeling well. And that goes through all age groups. It is not just for the elderly. It is for any age, especially when we're talking about dealing with the coronavirus. We want to be well prepared and make sure that people have every bit of information at their fingertips. If you should get that sick, you don't want people giving you medication that you're allergic to. So make sure that you write that information down somewhere, keep it in a safe place or somewhere out in the open. You are with your family, so they should know this information in the first place. Okay, let's move on. Things to keep in your house. Make sure you got things plenty to drink, like ginger ale. You got, fruit juices, anything else. Drink plenty of water. If just like any other virus, if you are contained home with the coronavirus and you're not sick enough that you have been hospitalized for it, then there are things that you can do to help yourself along. And one of those things is to make sure that you're properly hydrated. Water flushes out viruses. So you want to make sure that you have enough hydration and make sure that you are taking this, and I mean like really flushing out your system. Make sure that you are eating, A lot of times you don't feel well, but you need to keep yourself strong. So your immunity system has to be strong. You have to make sure that you are nourished. So you keep soup and stuff on deck. Make sure that you eat something. Okay, like I was saying earlier, the things to keep in your house, just in case you are confined and you do happen to test positive, you want to make sure that you have things to treat the symptoms, because it won't cure it. So you're just going to treat the symptoms and make sure that you go through it as comfortably as possible. For those of you who might experience some shortness of breath and the doctors say, no, you don't have to be hospitalized, then what you would like to do is get into, just run a hot shower. And it'll help you breathe. If you go in there and you breathe up the moisture, it'll help break up whatever is going on in your chest and expel the mucus out. So you want to make sure that you keep your chest clear so that you do not develop pneumonia. So that is very, very important. And do that a couple times a day. Also, make sure that you gargle in the morning, at night, in between times, as often as you want to, because the coronavirus, for some reason, it gets stuck right here within your neck. I'm gonna utilize lay terms so that everybody realizes what I'm talking about. It gets stuck in your neck and it lays right there. And then as you swallow or you do as you swallow or you drink and you eat, it pushes itself down and it goes down into your lungs. Well, what you want to do is make sure that you continue to either flush it out or make sure you gargle. So that's two ways. If it gets down in there, you want to make sure that you're properly hydrated and continue to flush. If it hasn't gotten like that and you're just now starting to feel sick, make sure that you continue to gargle. So either way, it's coming up out of your system. Like I said, make sure that you have plenty of Tylenol, because you don't want to let your fevers get out of hand. And you read the directions every 4 to 6 hours, depending on what kind of fever you have. Also, if your coughs can be crazy, and I know they can be irritating. So you get a cough suppressant. If you have had a heart attack before, or if you have high blood pressure, make sure that you get Coricidin, and Coricidin only, because Coricidin is one of those medications that is heart healthy, heart friendly, when you and it will not go against your high blood pressure medication and cause you to have a heart attack. So make sure that you have the right things on deck. You don't want to cause yourself to have a problem by being overly cautious and getting the wrong medication. So always make sure that if you're going to have these things on deck, there are things that are going to be proactive and very useful. You don't want to get things that are going to harm you just because you're scared. So that's one of the reasons why I came on here tonight. I'm like, what can I do for my community? Being a healthcare professional and being somebody that knows exactly how to deal with stuff like this, because I've read up on it. I know I've never dealt with coronavirus before, but I've treated some very sick people, and it's no different than any one of them. You just have to treat the symptoms. When you can't cure something, you treat it symptomatically. So you just have to be careful with everything you do. Once again, if you do have any signs and symptoms of these things, do not put your family at risk. Don't have them come over. Don't go out and attend any gatherings. Don't do any of that. If you need things, tell your family what's going on and ask them to put it on your step or put it wherever, somewhere in close proximity to your door where you can pick it up and go back. And plenty of rest is necessary. However, I don't want you to just sleep this away and think that it's going to go away and forget to treat yourself, and forget that if you're getting worse, that you need to call the doctor, because some people get worse and they think that going to sleep is going to make it better. With this, you just might not wake up. So I'm just going to put it as bluntly as that. You want to make sure that if you are getting worse, that you get medical attention. By that, I mean call your doctor, explain what is going on, and let the doctor tell you whether you should go to the emergency room, where you should go at, because they're treating people in different places now. They might not want you to go to the emergency room. They may want you to go somewhere else at a center that is being set up just for these. So you have to be very, very careful at times like this. And also, since I'm talking about Cumberland County now. We have our first case here in Cumberland County, but we don't have to keep having cases, you guys. I have been out only because I needed to go out, and I see kids out riding bikes. I see kids out playing basketball. Please, if these are your children or members of your family, please don't let that happen. This is not a spring break or summertime and it's vacation or staycation or whatever you want to call it. This is called survival at this particular point in time. Those children should be in the house. And make sure that if you do not have to go out, don't go out. Another thing, I'm sorry for everybody that is in the hospitality and the food and restaurant business. I really am sorry. And I pray that your businesses survive this terrible time. But I would not advise anybody to order food. I think that you should cook at home, because that way you know exactly what's going on. You know how the preparation went of your food. You know whether somebody was coughing over it. You don't know this when you're ordering food. You have no idea what's going on with your food. And just because they bring it out to, the car to you, what happened to it before it got there? So, please forgive me, anybody that's in the hospitality, food and beverage. I'm not trying to break your business. I'm trying to save lives. So I'm telling everybody to make sure that they cook at home during this time. You know what I'm saying? We can recover businesses. We can't recover lives. So I'm just asking everybody to, operate in a safety matter. Operate and take care of your families. And, some things don't take extreme measures and some things do. And you know what you need to do. The last thing that we need to do is be out and about if we don't have to. You never know, especially being around people that have already traveled. If you have traveled, be responsible and stay home and let people know that you are coming in from a travel situation and you do not wish to have them around you at this time until you know what's going on with yourself. So I'm just asking everybody to be responsible right now. We don't want to you don't want to be responsible for a loss of life. Just because you might make it through this situation doesn't mean that somebody else is strong enough to. So be careful. And everybody be there for each other as much as you can. Please. These are difficult times. People that don't have money to buy anything to eat, please make sure that you open up your heart and give to them and make sure that they have food to eat too. If they don't have things and that they're sick and they don't have money for, Tylenol or money for things that they need to treat themselves symptomatically, please make sure you open up your heart and provide those things necessary. Trust me, it'll come back to you in one way or another. But right now we are upon times that we probably most of us never seen before. And I pray to God that we never see them. With Cumberland County just having their first one, I'm quite sure we're going to have more. But make sure it doesn't have to spread. If you already don't have it, stay in. And if you do have it, stay in. You know what I'm saying? Don't expose this to anybody else. Anyway, I'm just coming on to try to do my duty as a child of God and as a medical professional. If you have any questions that you would like to ask me, I love you. Peace.